Dear students of class 10A and 10B, welcome to my history and civics class. Today's points, as I mentioned in the board, please look at it. There are certain points, please look at it. Second phase of Indian national movement. Methods of assertive nationalists. Methods of assertive nationalists. Number 1, Sadhushi. Number 2, boycott. Number 3, national education. Number 4, passive resistance. Passive resistance has, 3 parts: revivalism, personal sacrifices, mass involvement. Now, first point, Sadhushi. First method of assertive nationalist, the first point is Sadhushi. Now, what is Sadhushi? Sadhushi, is a process where the leaders insisted on using only Swadeshi goods, the goods which were produced only within the country. Only these goods the people would use rather than using foreign goods or machine-made goods which were produced in England, in other parts of India. So depending on, Swadeshi means self-reliance, self-confidence, and using of goods produced in India but not in other countries of the world. This is Swadeshi. And that idea encouraged the people of India. It also aroused nationalistic aspiration among the people, because initially that meaning of Sadhushi discourage British people, discourage British government, and encourage Indian people to be united against the oppressive rule of the British. The next one, boycott. Boycott means refuse to use any foreign goods. Refuse to use foreign goods, although the foreign goods produced through machines flooded the large market of India. Although it destroyed Indian handicraft industries, Indian cottage industries, and made so many people to be jobless, yet it left certain positive sides. What is it? The people of India felt that the British goods, the British goods, the foreign goods which flooded Indian market, the people must not use it. Although its qualities were good, although its prices also were very less, yet it would weaken the unity among the Indians. That's why the assertive leaders started campaigning, started teaching, started organizing meetings and seminars in order to make the people of our country, India, understand its drawbacks, its shortcomings. So people in course of time came to know foreign goods, British goods should not be used. It must be boycotted. It is Bal Gangadhar Tilak openly said, boycott means, Swadeshi and boycott means the same coin, 2 sides of the same coin. Swadeshi and boycott means 2 sides of the same coin. Who said it? Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Bal Gangadhar Tilak encouraged millions of people of India. He travelled throughout India, encouraged the people of India to boycott foreign goods. And he also encouraged the people of India to use only Swadeshi goods, Swadeshi products, so that people must have respect for the country, respect for country's people, respect for country's goods, and must encourage Indian indigenous industries, India's Swadeshi industries. That's why they adopted the policy of Sadhushi and boycott. The next one, national education. Next one, national education. You know, a national scheme of education was planned, which was to replace that of government-controlled universities and colleges. During the time of Lord Curzon, the University Act was passed, which gave certain rights to the British to interfere the affairs of the students in colleges and universities. But the assertive nationalists tried to enlist the students in their service. When the British government threatened to take disciplinary action against the students under the law passed by Lord Curzon, the University Act, the nationalist leaders advocated national universities that the students were free from government control. Forcefully, the government imposed restrictions on the students, but the government had no right to interfere the affairs of schools, colleges and universities. A large number of national schools were established in East Bengal. Bengal National College also was set up at Kolkata, and so many colleges also were set up throughout our country, India. In Punjab, the DFE movement made considerable effort in spreading education through the various organizations, various schools and colleges. Efforts were also made to give education a national orientation in the vernacular languages. So, this is another program under the assertive leaders, the national education. And now, passive resistance. Next point, passive resistance. What is passive resistance? The assertive nationalists or the assertive leaders believed in adopting the policy of non-violence, non-violent resistance and vigorous political action to achieve their aims. Passive resistance means non-violent resistance. That means they would be violent, but the system of agitation would be peaceful. They would vigorously took action against the British in order to achieve their goal, in order to achieve their aims. This is passive resistance. They believed that political rights could not be owned by an organization which could not distinguish between begging rights and claiming them. The Indians were not their beggars. The country belonged to them, belonged to themselves, but not belonged to the Britishers. So Indians were not beggars. They must not beg their rights to the British. So they therefore asked the people to refuse to cooperate with the government and to boycott government service, to boycott government schools, government colleges, universities, courts. They advocated courage, self-confidence, self-reliance, spirit of sacrifice, and achieved their goal of Swaraj. Encourage the people of India to be united against the oppression of the British, against the injustice done to them. That's why they adopted this method and used this in various ways. Now, first, they adopted the technique revivalism. First point, revivalism. What is revivalism? Assertive nationalists revived self-respect by referring to India's past glory, past history, past image. Leaders planned the national movement on people's religious beliefs. They revived the Shivaji festival in the year 1895. Who? Tilak, the famous leader of our country, India, from his own state, Maharashtra. Tilak revived the famous Shivaji festival from 1895 onwards. The assertive nationalists presented Chandragupta Vikramaditya, presented, Rana Pratap, presented Shivaji, and so many Indian rulers who sacrificed their life with heroic deeds and presented themselves to be powerful rulers of India. They revived them. They portrayed them to be powerful ruler of India. Of such a country they belonged. Naturally, the people of India were attracted by the ideals of such rulers who sacrificed their life, who dedicated their life for the glory and image of independence, who never sacrificed their independence before their enemies. So these heroic deeds of the past rulers, which were portrayed by the assertive leaders to the people of India, they all were attracted by it. It inspired masses to fight for their country. Now, personal sacrifices. What is personal sacrifices? The followers of movement use self-reliance. These all were ready for self-sacrifice, suffering and hardship to achieve their goal. People realize that it belonged to their own country. How long will they be a part of such a foreign rule? They must come out of this restricted zone. They must make their country free from the bondage of the British rule. But how? How is it possible? Only what was needed? The cooperation of the leaders of India. Since the leaders came forward in order to cooperate the people of our country, since it belonged to their own country, then why should they not extend their cooperation towards them? The people of India, they strongly supported the strategy, techniques and methods of the assertive leaders, and they all immediately ready to sacrifice their lives, and they are immediately ready to face any kind of sufferings, any kind of hardship. And next one, mass involvement. The assertive leaders felt that making public opinion was very important to them. That's why almost all leaders travel different cities, different places of India, the major historical places, the major important cities of India, they travel one after one and conducted so many meetings and seminars and tried their level best to make public opinion, tried to make the people understand their drawbacks, their shortcomings, and their miserable conditions under the British rule, under the foreign rule. They had an abiding faith in the strength of the masses. That's why they decided to do it and proposed to win freedom through mass action. Mass action was very important to the country. If mass would become a part of their revolt, part of their movement, agitation, they would be able to make this country free from the British rule. They arouse nationalistic interest among them. They arouse the masses by influencing them with their sacrifices and with their suffering. Most of the people, they agreed, they joined actively all the meetings conducted by the assertive leaders. As a result of it, assertive movement became a very famous movement throughout our country. It became a very popular movement throughout our country, and only because of that reason, the assertive leaders approached the people of India to accept, to support their stand. They denounced British rule and defied it. Not only that, they rejected British rule and held it responsibility for poverty of India, poverty of the people of India, and also blamed the British for that reason, and also drew attention to the people. They drew their support from the masses. Not only that, they drew their inspiration from India's past glory, India's past history, revived Shivaji, revived Nana Pratap, revived Chandragupta, Vikramaditya to be the powerful rulers of India who sacrificed their lives, who framed good policies, who also made good administration, and who got that very country united, and also people led a very successful and rich and happy life during their rule, and they never taught them to sacrifice their independence. That's why the past glory, the past history of India, encourage millions of people of India under under the preachings and teachings of the assertive leaders. And by that way, the assertive leaders were able to make them agree to take initiative for the call of motherland. Up to this, my dear students. Thank you.